You are welcome to yet another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show, where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. One may wonder why bad things always seem to happen to Black American celebrities who have reached the peaks of their careers and seem unstoppable, and how the law is always twisted to enable their oppressor. The phenomenon, which has now become a pattern of similar and related events, stems back from as early as 1912, when the first black heavyweight boxing champion Jack Johnson was arrested for allegedly violating the Mann Act, a law which had been enacted only 2 years before in 1910, likely to help crack down on black people who escaped the poverty line as opposed to actual interstate traffickers. Jack Johnson had made it to the top against all odds as a black descendant of enslaved ancestors in a fashion that no one imagined was possible, and this has always created a major threat to the usual white supremacy, causing the urgent need to stop him. His decision to elope with a white woman he was in love with gave a perfect opportunity to the oppressor to swing the open-ended Mann Act into action and use it to hunt him down, and to lock him up on multiple charges including kidnap. And once Jack Johnson started spending his hard-earned dollars on attorneys and endless legal battles, his reign as a successful black American that would inspire many others like him to succeed in life was suddenly over. After Jack Johnson, we have seen many black American celebrities of comparable success taken down in a similar fashion, and bringing their net worth from hundreds of millions to as low as $2 million and sometimes into negatives, or forcing them to sell out for cheap like they did Michael Jackson. An example being the way heavyweight boxing champion Mike Tyson was reduced to a rapist, when a female model who agreed to go with him to his hotel room at 2 a.m. filed a major lawsuit against him in the wee hours of the night, suggesting he had raped her. Once the legal issues started and Tyson was imprisoned for 3 years out of the 6 he had been sentenced to, for a boxing champ who needed to remain fit every single day, his career was literally over. Another black man that was systematically brought down like an airplane shot down from the sky is the great Michael Jackson, who at the peak of his career literally owned half of Sony RCA with a net worth estimated in billions of dollars. Just like R. Kelly, Michael's legal problems started when he developed a rift with Sony boss Tommy Mottola and wanted to withdraw his investment in the multi-billion corporation. There is in fact plenty of video evidence to this cause that shows devastated Michael Jackson speak the worst of his CEO, and blaming the corporation for being the destroyer of great music. When the battle against Michael Jackson failed in court, seeing him surmount with all charges dropped, the next alternative was to overdose him and have the whole world wake up to a dead Michael Jackson lying helpless in bed, and his doctor pretending he knew nothing about what had happened. The first thing Sony did once Michael was out of the picture was to buy out his family for cheap. They basically took everything that belonged to him at $500 million, yet it was worth so much more, and today all we can do is talk about him in vain. We cannot mention all of these people we have lost to the systematic takedown agenda, but the most recent one is the Bill Cosby case, which saw multiple women paraded in court, all claiming Cosby abused them sexually. From Bill Cosby's case, we learnt that these women actually consent to whatever happens but are quick to exchange the truth for money offered by the oppressor when approached for the takedown. The same women who claim to love you so much will become the greatest weapon against you when the oppressor buys into their false stories against you. Bill Cosby was renowned for his popular TV shows and appearances in a number of Hollywood movies and TV series from the past as a great actor and comedian. No one expected him to be battling with such lawsuits, especially in his old age when he should be enjoying the last days of his life as the legend he is. We however ought to know that even if the oppressor doesn't succeed with their legal attempts, the damage caused by this systematic approach lies more in the discouragement they are able to cause among young black American populations who look up to these people, and the interference with the passing on of generational wealth in our communities which would otherwise empower the entire race. It's obvious that the oppressor would not want to see a generation of black Rockefellers and Morgans gain influence in the U.S. economy, and subsequently control the politics of this nation, as would be the case if the Michael Tysons, Kanye Wests, Bill Cosbys, R. Kellys and now the Diddys were able to pass down their wealth as inheritance to the generations to come. And this brings us to the story of Diddy and why his home was raided only a few days back by Homeland Security investigations agents. When R. Kelly was arrested and indicted back in 2019, The rest of the Black American community looked on and ignored, thinking this was his problem alone, and not the problem of the entire community. In fact, it is fellow black people that have been used to play major roles in his takedown, many of them of course expecting financial gain in restitutions and other forms. The media itself, which is filled with our own, started off bashing R. Kelly because they felt this is the kind of content that was most likely to trend about the situation. Greedy for views and followers, they sold out their own without caring to look into the facts and understand where the government was making a mistake and breaking the laws of this land. But then we forget that what hits your neighbor may not spare you. We saw artists for whom R. Kelly wrote great songs and promoted even though they were too small for him to be collaborating with at that time speak the worst of him. Artists like Chance the Rapper and Nick Cannon betrayed the R&B king and sided with the malicious government and its false accusers. With what's currently happening to Diddy Combs, however, I am sure many now know that no one is immune to the wrath of the oppressor. I am confident that many can now see the trend of events and draw out the pattern of systemic racism that is being propagated by the government in conjunction with the Department of Justice. And if we are not careful to stand firm with each other in testing times as these, we may not become extinct as a community, but our generational flow of wealth will continue to be sabotaged and our dreams of becoming a people that equally matter will be shattered. As we speak now, Jay-Z, who has been all quiet, may be next in line now that his confidant Diddy is a wanted man. We must realize that the purpose of these open-ended statutes is to help the oppressor choose whoever they wish to target and fit allegations into such laws to determine them guilty even if they are truly innocent. We all have a past and this is perfectly normal, but where there are some laws enacted and left open-ended that they can be used to turn our past into federal crimes, then we are all in big trouble. In fact, there must be many of our kind currently rotting in prisons as a result of these vague laws being misused, and we don't know. Only when it happens to a celebrity we know well do we react. But what about other innocent souls currently serving such sentences as Kelly's with no one to fight for their rights and freedom? According to Josh, this is a good analysis of the status quo. It's no wonder these successful black men are all targeted towards the end of their successful careers, when they are almost approaching the point of passing on their wealth to their children and grandchildren. There is indeed a big problem. It cannot be natural occurring to a single type of persons at the peak of their career. That selection is certainly not natural. If you wish to take part in a live interview on this channel discussing any of these topics, let us know by emailing us on sashahnnewsroom@gmail.com for scheduling. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say? To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.